Welcome to the Arsenal show. We are live. And we've done it again. 1-0 to the Arsenal. Anyone older than the age of, say, about 20 would have heard that chant regularly down at Highbury. 1-0 to the Arsenal. And we've done it again. We've done it against Norwich. And now we've done it against Burnley. No one expected it to be easy against Burnley. It was always going to be a tough game. However, you look online and it seems like some people don't understand what a win away from Burnley means and how hard it is to achieve. But I actually pulled up the records. We go to it in a second. However, I'd like to introduce my guest tonight. It's Steve K in the building. How you doing, Steve?
How you doing, Kieron? Yeah, another. It's getting a bit of habit, this, isn't it? You know, the two wins on the trot now. Hopefully, we can keep it up.
Yep, definitely. And Jerome Marks, of course. How you doing, Jerome?
Yeah, always a nice evening after an afternoon Arsenal victory. So all good.
I say Jerome, aka Mystic Meg. Huh?
Very nearly. Very nearly.
Well.
Halfway
To be fair, you did call the score to be 1-0, and the score was.
It was 1-0. It was 1-0.
That was your own score prediction. He got it right. Key man.
Yeah, close. Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah. I mean, you said any of the defense, and I picked Gabriel out of that defense because of the kind of defender that he is. He's a bit more of a. He thrives on these kind of games where people want to pull him about and get stuck in. Like he's that Brazilian. Lucio. Anyone remember that kind of that?
Yeah.
He's a different breed of Brazilian. He's not the silky skilled. Although he's got a bit of that in his locker, he relishes a dogfight, and he got one today. But yeah, Steve, let's start with you. What did you think of the win today? What did you think of the game today, in general?
I thought we did well. Like you said, it was an hard place to go to. Burnley, never easy for any club. Burnley came to. You could see what they wanted to do. You know, they wanted to sort of kick us. They wanted to see what we was made of, and I think we stood up to them. There was players there. We were saying that this is going to be a test. I thought all those players passed those tests with flying colours. Mm-hmm. I thought we had control of the game, and I think Mikel Arteta's, probably got, a few faults to have, going into the next game, because there's some faults that maybe some people could come out, and there's some faults that now some people could come in. So yeah, but overall, excellent.
Jerome, what was your take on the game? How do you think Arsenal played?
In well, during the game, I was I don't know if the word's worried, but it was a hard game to watch in some ways, because you didn't feel comfortable during the game. I'm talking about. You always felt that Burnley were a threat, whether it be from a cross, a corner. You always felt like they could score, but coming away from the game and looking at it after it's happened, it's an excellent result, like a really good result. It's like you said, I think nowadays, especially, it's so hard to go there and get anything. Yeah. And I'm sure we'll come on to it. Seeing the lineup, quite surprised with the team he actually picked, because you'd think that you'd want some maybe physical players in central midfield. Yep. And he basically went with one central midfielder. Maybe that could be because he's more comfortable with the defence that he's got. And he thinks, you know what, I'm happy with the defence. I don't need to stick so many big, strong central midfielders in front of them, perhaps. But I thought that could have been a bit of a risk. But no, overall, look, every Arsenal fan would have taken a 1-0, wouldn't they, before the game? And like Steve said, a few very good individual performances, which I'm sure we'll come on to. But yeah, you can't knock that. It's a great result considering the circumstances of how we started the season as well, so much pressure on the manager. He needed 3 points, and he got it. And I don't think all the top teams will end up getting 3 points there as well. It's a hard place to go to. So fair play to the team today. They've done well.
Yeah, it's a very hard place to go to, and I feel that some people forget how hard it is to go away to go to. I pulled up some head-to-head stats of Arsenal's game away from home against Burnley. Since 2008, Arsenal won 1-0, drew 1-0, drew 0-0, won 3-1. That was the last game of the season, so it doesn't count. We know that, yeah? They won 1-0, they won 1-0, they won 1-0, they drew 1-0, they lost 2-0, they won 1-0. Oh, it's 1-2-0. So it shows that it's a very hard place to go to, and nothing's changed from back in 2008 till now. So I don't understand what people's thinking is when they're probably moaning about the game with regards to. I don't know what they was expecting. It was never going to be an easy game, and it was always going to be a game where at times we were under the cosh because they like to hit it forward, hold it up with the likes of Ashley Barnes. He drops it onto the next man, and that's how they play. They play in them waves, and you're gonna get that in games against Burnley. But what we did in the game was we held strong. We got them last ditch tackles in. We got the blocks in. We stopped them from creating anything really dangerous. Good save from Aaron Ramsdale in the game. Really good save. A mistake from poor back pass from Ben White, which nearly got us into trouble. But again, Aaron Ramsdale saved it. Other than that, I thought we'd done really well overall. If you look back on the game, I think we limited Burnley to not too many chances on the goal. So yeah, I'll take that. And as you said, I'd have taken that yesterday, today, 2 years ago, 2 weeks ago, and I'll take it 2 weeks from now if we was to play them. So yeah. Steve, we're going to go to player ratings. I don't know how we're going to work out these player ratings between you two. An average score. I might just put both of them up. I did for the other show. I might just put both of them up. Yeah. All right, people in the comment section, come on, give me your player ratings. Get ready. Let me know if you agree with Steve. Let me know if you agree with Jonathan, Jerome. Who the hell's Jonathan? Who the hell is Jonathan? All right. Aaron Ramsdale, 3 games, 3 clean sheets so far. The manager, some say it was brave, some say it was bold, some say it had to be done. It was something that all 3 of us actually thought should be done. In the preview last week, Jerome, you didn't think he would do it, but he did. And yeah, he's done well since he's been in there. Good game today, Steve?
Brilliant game today. Glad to see him between the sticks. He was safe, assured. His handling was excellent, very, very good indeed. He made some good saves. When his handling wasn't, when he couldn't handle the ball, when he pushed it out to the right areas, which is always pleasing and not out right in front of him. Another big tick for me, as you already said, that's his 3rd game now. Played well in every single game. I'm going to say this now, and Leno should not be called back. And for me, questions, and I love Mikel Arteta, questions for me will need to be asked of Arteta if he is. Now, you know me, I don't, I'm one for not having a go at players, especially Arsenal players or managers or anything. But this thing about telling Leno that you'll be back between the sticks in 2 games against Tottenham, I think is absolutely ridiculous. And if he,
I must have missed that. Where did he say that?
I see it already somewhere. I mean, I hold my hands up if I've missed it. Fair enough, but I know I've seen it somewhere that he'll be back in 2 games.
That doesn't make sense though. Why would you bring in if you've dropped your goalkeeper who's been there for 3 years, why bring him back in
I don't know. I
in
don't
such
know.
a game? That
This why
sounds mad.
this is why it stood out to me when I see it, and I was like, "Come on, we don't." This I'll tell you, this ain't the way a professional football clubs run.
No.
I'm not playing a game here where Ramsdale one's week, Leno the next week, and 2 weeks later. I'm not playing that. He needs to be ruthless.
Yeah.
And he needs to say, Leno, you're our number 2. I think Ramsdale should be number 1. I've seen him 3 times now. Watched football long enough. I'm not a goalkeeper, but you are, Kieron. His handling's better. His kicking's better. His saving's better. And if he's back in against Tottenham, then I'll be asking questions. Back to his rating, I'm going to give Ramsdale an 8 today.
All right, yeah, I think that's a fair rating. Jerome, what have you given Ramsdale?
Yeah, I'd agree with Steve there. I didn't. Obviously, we can only go off of the few times we've seen him. I did today. His handling from crosses, coming out and claiming crosses. I didn't think he'd be as good at that as what he was today. I thought he was excellent at that, which it takes off so much pressure from the defence, or just from the whole team, really. When a keeper comes and claims a cross, but obviously at a much lower level, when I was playing centre back, and we had a big keeper, like 6'4" keeper, and it just saves you on so many occasions. Like it's so important to have. There was a couple of times when I think he had a couple of back passes, and he delayed it a little bit, and I thought, don't get yourself into trouble here. But I thought just smash it if you have to. Just don't make any silly mistakes. But he can't have done better in these 3 games than what he's done. Yeah. Not just the stats in terms of clean sheets, but everything he's been asked to do, he's done it well pretty much. He saved Ben White, obviously, with that back pass. I'm glad the referee overturned that, because once you saw the replay, you could see that he clearly won the ball, and the player sort of fell over him up sort of second. Never ever a penalty. But yeah, he's eight for today, and like Steve said, he's got to play the next game. Be interesting to see if he brings Leno back for the cup game against Wimbledon.
Yeah, I mean, I think he should bring Leno back in the cup game for Wimbledon, because you need to keep your other players sharp. Yeah. Like Steve, if I see Leno in a shirt for that Tottenham game, I think I'll lose my rag before the game. Like that, that'd be absolute mental. Yeah. Because it's such a massive game, and the players' confidence is sky high. They've got to build a relationship between the defense and the goalkeeper. It's a back 5. It's not back 4. It's a back 5, and they need continuity. They need consistency. That back pass to White, from White to Ramsdale, potentially will never happen again like that, because he would have learned that Ramsdale sits a little bit deeper, and that pass will have a bit more weight on it. It's all those little things. The call from Ramsdale to make sure that he does want it, all little things. So you can't start messing around with that. Leno is going at the end of the season. He's not signing a new deal, so that he'll be sold. So yeah, there's no point in messing around now. You got your number 1. And even if Ramsdale was to make a mistake in the next game, you still got your number 1 for me. You've got to play him through that. He keeps his shirt for me. No messing around. Let's see what the comment section says. It's absolutely buzzing. All right, I see that's Rick there. He's gone for a 10 for Ramsdale. Very excited about the win. I can see clearly, Rick. He will play. He's talking about Leno playing against Wimbledon, and he should do. Glenn says he's happy with the result, impressed by the defence, but our lack of final ball in the final third is killing us. It is. Ramsdale is surpassing expectations. Yes, he is. And he's silencing the critics. Glenn, we'll come back to you in a bit. Where is he? I don't want to go into him yet. Oh, he's not there. Tomiyasu. He seems to be becoming a bit of a fan's favourite already. Steve, what do you think of Tomiyasu's performance today?
I thought he was excellent again. We said this would be a test for him last week, and he passed it for me. He was one of the players who I said it was a test. He passed it for me with flying colours. He didn't get as forward as much as what he did against Norwich, but I thought his defending. I thought he was fantastic, and for me, who likes a right back to defend, it was just so refreshing to see finally an Arsenal player who is a right back get stuck in. There was times, when players like Westwood and Ashley Barnes was giving him a whack, giving him some stick, but it was so pleased to see because he just got up, got on with it, and then 5 minutes later gave them a whack for their troubles, and he's a little bit of a unit actually, isn't he? You look at him, he's just got some, and he made that fantastic goal-saving tackle in the first half. I think that might have been Ashley Barnes as well. I think Gabriel. It was probably a combination of Gabriel.
I think it was Gabriel.
Yeah. But he was sort of there.
He was there.
He was putting the pressure on exactly. So I mean, looks like we found ourselves, finally a very good right back. So I'll give Tommy a 7.
Tomiyasu gets a 7 from Steve. Jerome, what are you giving Tomiyasu?
Yeah, are we allowed to give half scores, or are we sticking to the whole numbers?
No half scores. Nathan tries to do highs and lows. So he's like a high 7.
Oh, okay, yeah.
A low 8. I'm like, yeah, whatever you want. It's a single number. That's what we're playing.
Yeah, fair enough. I promise you, I'm not copying Steve here, but I have to agree and give him a 7. I don't think he was quite as good as Ramsdale was, but I'll give him a 7. He hardly a foot wrong. Sometimes I just hope he doesn't get caught out of position. Sometimes either caught too far up the field.
He's got the burners though. He's got the pace.
He's got the recovery pace. He has got the recovery pace, but it's the speed of the game. You can see that he was on his. He was like lying down at the end of the game, wasn't he? He was shattered, and obviously coming from Italian football to English football, you can see just straight away. Obviously, the pace of the game is just totally different, and he's only going to get better by getting used to the pace of the game, and obviously playing with new set of players. I think he won all of his duels today, all of his aerial duels, and. You're not worried, are you? If the ball goes to the back stick or the ball goes up in the air and he's there, you're quite confident that he's going to win it, and that hasn't been the case with a lot of our fullbacks in the past. So, and also, I'll tell you what, is obviously you can't compare them because they're different. But normally we're raving over Kieron Tierney, and I'm not saying we're raving over Tomiyasu, but Tierney isn't taken as much of the plaudits at the moment. I think because Tomiyasu's come in and there's not such a big difference between the left back and the right back in terms of sort of quality at the moment, if you know what I mean. Normally Tierney is miles ahead of our right back in terms of quality and how he's playing.
And what I think people happens this, is people ignore some of the sort of the faults that Tierney has because the right back is doing so badly at times, you're ignoring. Kieron Tierney's done this. Kieron Tierney done that, and it's like, no. If it weren't for Kieron Tierney, then he does make mistakes. People, he is human, and Tomiyasu is showing. It's like actually, this geezer is decent. So sorry, carry on.
Yeah, and I think I think he's maybe better on the ball than maybe I thought as well. I think he's got a good range of not range of passing, but he can obviously just play it simple. He can clip it. He can switch play with either foot. He's got a good array of sort of passing, which can get us out of trouble and obviously move us up the pitch. And excellent. It seems, and obviously that photo at the end when I think some of the players are lifting him up and he's with Arteta, it's like nice to see that he's obviously settled in really well as well.
Yeah, already everyone running over to him. Yeah, no,
that's like a good character. He seems like a good character. Him and Ramsdale both seem like they're no trouble, like proper team players.
Yes, and in both of them, in Mikel Arteta's interviews about them, he mentions the character. He talks about how they play, but he mentions the character of the player. And we said before about the interview with Aaron Ramsdale, that first interview that he did. You could tell he was the character and the right character. It was like, yes, we've got a player in the team who's potentially a leader. And that's what you want. And you can tell that just by the character of a person that they're that leader. They've got leadership skills by the way they answer the questions, by the way they talk, by the way they act. And you've seen that. I love the way, because it reminds me of what I used to do, is celebrate and have a little bit of banter with the people behind the goal, or celebrate with you're your own man when you're a goalkeeper. So when the team scores, they're all up the other end. You ain't going to so you want to celebrate. You don't want to stand there and be like, yay. You want to celebrate. And then when the people behind you giving it, you give it back to them. They love that, and I love having someone like Ramsdale in the team. I think it's quality. Ben White, Steve, Ben White.
Yeah, Ben White. Got caught a couple of times today. We've already mentioned the pass back to Ramsdale. He should have put a little bit more on that. Could have put us in a lot of trouble there. If I think it was, who was it? Was it Chris Woods? Was it? And if he was a little bit quicker, then I think we probably wouldn't be coming away with a 1-0 win today. But let's not harp on that. I mean, even though he did that, he still looks strong at the back. I mean, with Gabriel, I think these two are going to make a really good partnership going forward. Yeah, he's just got to probably just maybe brush up on his passing, get a little bit, think a little bit more, and and then he's, I put it this way: I never want to see him out the side. I think he's a fantastic player, and I think he's going to be Arsenal's centre half going on, for the future. So but I gave Ben White a 6 today.
Okay, Jerome, what have you given Ben White?
It was a toss-up between a 6 and a 7. I'll give him a 7. Okay. I think what's not working, because I don't want to copy Steve again. I think what's not in his favour at the moment is the price tag and the expectations. The expectations of him from Arsenal fans and just from everyone in football is humongous at the moment. However, like Steve said, he made a terrible mistake. He underhit that back pass, but I don't want to dwell on that because there's obviously 93 minutes of the game other than that when he's involved. And for someone that some of the pundits were having a go at, he doesn't, he's not that great in the air. I thought today in the air he was brilliant. I didn't think he was troubled by anything in the air against those centre forwards. Sometimes a bit casual perhaps when he's on the ball. But I think that's just how he plays. And I think maybe it's learning, when to be too casual and when not. A bit like Ainsley Maitland-Niles sometimes has that bit of casualness about him. But again, part of a defence that kept a clean sheet. And if he didn't play that great, I'm sure Burnley would have taken advantage of it. And apart from that back pass, they didn't really. Hopefully the signs are of him and Gabriel being quite a decent pair together. Again, only second time they've played together. I thought it was okay. He wasn't obviously not fantastic, but not by no means did he. I don't think he had a bad game at all. I thought he was like just average with a couple of little hiccups, but dealt well with like a very physical centre forward pairing.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to give Ben White the 6 just because he wasn't as good as Tomiyasu. And if we're going off of Ramsdale was an 8, Tomiyasu is a 7. I'm going to give White a 6. Again, I'm not going to dwell on the back pass. It happens. I've seen many players do it and top defenders do it. Like, it happens. That they get to know each other as they move on and grow in partnership and stuff like that. And I did see some really nice touches and turns from White, which I think will probably be missed because people will be dwelling on things like the back pass and stuff like that and being covered by Gabriel. But what we've got to remember is Ben White is there to be a defender that will break out of defence, that will try that stuff. Otherwise, we could have just got a Socrates or a Mustafi type defender that the lumps. Arsenal don't want that anymore. We need to move away from that. They want players that are going to play a bit more. And Ben White.
Sorry, I don't think Ben White, because of the way the game went today, we all know that's one of his best parts of his games, bringing the ball out, right out to the centre circle. But because of the way we were set up today, because we played just the Partey with the one defensive midfield, he couldn't do that. There was no way he could start coming out with the ball and leaving Gabriel on his own with the one defensive midfield play. Because if we would have got caught, then it's good night. So we didn't see, to be fair to Ben White, he couldn't play his full game that we know he can play today, I think.
Yeah. But he did have some nice turning out of trouble, won a couple of nice tackles. So I thought he did all right without being excellent. I think a 6 is a fair rating. Some may give less, but no, I think 6 is fair enough. Gabriel. Now, I have to say he's one of my favourite players at the moment. Since he's come back, he's been excellent. I think he's played like he did when he first came to Arsenal again, and hope it continues. Steve, what have you given Gabriel?
Well, he seems to be slowly moulding himself into that consistent performer, isn't he? Starting, I think I said last season that I wasn't too sure on Gabriel. He looks a bit. How can I put it? He looks a bit messy sometimes, giving the ball away. But since he's came back, like you just said, Kieron, he's really starting to look like a proper international Arsenal, centre half. He's so strong. I mean, he's fantastic in the tackle. I mean, in the air, he's just. I mean, I'll go as far as I probably don't. I can't think of a better defender in the air than him. I'd never see him get beat in the air. I've never. I make a point of looking. Do you know when you make a play, gets in your head, and there's a corner or a free kick, you think, I'm going to watch Gabriel see if he goes up and win. And every time he does, there's not one time that he doesn't win the ball. And that's so refreshing from the Arsenal of what we've known over the last few years. When you got Ramsdale in goal and he's coming out and he's claiming. Jerome's already mentioned about how Ramsdale comes out, he's catching the ball, he's claiming it. The ball's coming across and Gabriel's there and he's clearing the ball with his head, and it don't matter who he's marking, he's getting there first before anyone else. I mean, from going back Arsenal over the years, corners, free kicks, an absolute nightmare. 2 minutes to go, 1 minute to go into injury time. We're all like hiding behind the sofas because we know it's going to be
I hate that. I'm watching it. Clearly, the game's finished, but my phone's saying there's still 2 minutes left here. So I'm trying to watch TV to see if it's come up as full time on the game while still watching it on here, thinking, please just finish. Please just finish.
I've been there.
Mate.
Ain't it refreshing to not have to do that? I'm not finding myself doing it at the moment anyway. But look, I thought obviously he was a bit better than Ben White today, and probably was he as good as Ramsdale? Maybe I could go the I8s with Nathan, but no, I'm not. I am going to give Gabriel the 7 just because I just feel he wasn't just as good as what Ramsdale was, but he's very close. Excellent performance today. Top draw.
All right, Steve has given Gabriel a 7. Most clearances, 8 blocks. 8 clearances, Gabriel. Most tackles, Gabriel,
8.
3.
I change it to 8.
Most blocks, Gabriel, 2. This is a beast today. Steve wants Sol Campbell Mark 2 week in, week out. Jerome, what you got for Gabriel?
Oh, he's on the border of an 8 and a 9, isn't he? He's well on the border. I'll give him an 8. I'll give him an 8. I know. This is a Gabriel performance. When Gabriel doesn't make silly mistakes, this is what he can do every week, Gabriel, isn't it?
It is.
This is what we saw today. Is a typical Gabriel performance when he doesn't have any silly moments. Like, he's so strong. He didn't get bullied at all. That clearance it was in the first half, wasn't it? He sort of just took it off the end of the player's toes.
Because I thought it was Tomiyasu as well, because Tomiyasu seemed to be like on the easier side to get that ball.
Yeah. He just stretched out his leg.
Yeah.
Just stretched out his leg, poked it away. He's brilliant. And an 8 for today. He's when he's on his game, he's such a calming presence. You know he's not going to get beaten for pace. He's not going to get barged off the ball. I think he gave away a foul in the first half, maybe, when it was like him and Barnes were both tugging at each other. And I don't think it should have been given as a foul because Barnes was like tugging at him first, I think. But yeah, he was excellent today, Gabriel. And just hope he stays fit and he can put in performances like this every week, because if he can, then like Steve said, there's not many better centre backs in the league.
Yeah, no, he loves it. He's that defender that loves to defend. I feel like when he gets older, he's going to start cheering his tackles, cheering his blocks, just getting the crowd going mental on European nights. Like, that's what you want. That is what you want. And he can play as well. Like, the geezer can play. He's Brazilian. Of course he can play. So I was encouraged by another good performance from Gabriel. As I said a few weeks ago, I was watching him in training, and he was just monstrous. It was like he didn't care that he was training. It was like, I have not been back for ages. I've had an injury. He was just like, everyone didn't care, pulling people off the ball, getting shot. Like, I was loving it, and that for me. So yeah, I've got to go with the 8. I feel like I'm the Len of Strictly. Yeah, I'm not scared. Yeah, I'm like the chief judge. All right. So I get the final call it. Steve goes for the 7. Steve goes for 7. Jerome goes for the 8. I'm giving it the 8. Yeah, Gabriel was he was up there. Still, I thought he was quality.
8's in the comments. Anthony gives him an 8 as well.
Yeah, Anthony there. 8 out of 10. Gabby is a dog. Couldn't have said it better. It is a dog. Toughness the back line needed. It is. Yeah. You're perfectly right, Anthony. Completely right. All right. Who we got next? We have got Kieron Tini. Steve, what are you giving Kieron Tini? Is that a little song there, Jerome?
Yeah.
Go, carry on. While I'm thinking.
Shall I go with Tierney?
Yeah, go for it.
I thought it was a bit of a quiet game from Tino.
Quiet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, he was.
Like, he wasn't really involved a lot, and that's not a criticism at all. Maybe from you want to see him attacking a lot, I suppose, but getting crosses in and just helping the attack, which but ultimately he's there to defend, isn't he? He's a left back. I'll give him a 6, but like a positive 6.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean. Like, it's not a 6 when someone's had a poor game.
6 ain't a bad one. 6 ain't a bad one.
Yeah. He takes the plaudits every week.
He does.
Yeah, he's owed a 6. He's due a 6, isn't he?
He's due a 6. Yeah.
Honestly, he didn't have like a busy game, did he? He wasn't involved a lot.
Because he
didn't really notice him, to be honest. in the first half, I think he tried to get forward a bit beginning of the first half, perhaps made a couple of forward runs trying to support the attack, but don't remember getting forward much in the second half at all, to be honest. I guess we were doing quite a bit of defending, so we were defending the lead.
Yeah.
And obviously, he went off, didn't he, at some point? He went off for Tavares.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but fine. You know.
But I think we said that. I think they said the other day, like this game, you got to have a put in an honest performance. And this weren't really a game where Kieron could break forward too much, as Steve said about Ben White, because Burnley are on you. They are dogged. They are fit. They must, their pre-season just must be like proper old school horrible, like doing Turkish shuttle runs up hills and stuff like that, like miles and marathon runs, because they just run all day. They've got engines, and if defenders are to keep bombing forward and getting out of position, they're going to exploit it. They're going to start getting into them positions. You're going to let Dwight McNeil get space around the area. Johnson. So it's just you can't. You really can't. So I'm not surprised Kieron was quiet today. Steve.
Yeah, everything Jerome says. I've literally got on my piece of paper in front of me. Kieron Tierney 6 quiet game. But again, you've added Kieron just a few seconds ago there that we were set up a certain way where Kieron Tierney was, if anything, what he was going to do today was going to be defend.
Yeah.
And the ball, it wasn't going down that his left hand side that much, was it? Or Burnley's right. You know, it just wasn't, and he really wasn't getting involved in the game. And as already said, it wasn't a game for him to go forward because we were playing the one defensive midfield player. You can't, your defenders can't start bombing up every minute when you've just got the one defensive midfield player, especially where even with our two defensive midfield players today, you know, we're still sort of blending them in. So everything Jerome said. Again, it was an honest performance. It was a decent performance. He didn't do nothing wrong. It was just a quiet game. So I'd give him a 6.
Oh, Kieron, Connie.
Thomas Partey. Go on, Jerome. You go first.
Thomas Partey. Again, he's on a 6 and 7. He's on a 6 and a 7. He's on the borderline of those. I'll give him a 7 because to be in virtually in the centre midfield on his own, wasn't he? He wasn't playing with any supporting centre midfielders like natural, really, and he done okay. It wasn't. I've seen him play a lot better, but when he was picking up the ball from the centre backs or the full backs, you felt like something could happen here. Like you had a bit of hope, a bit of optimism that he could pick a really a really decent pass or break the line or just do something positive with the ball. And it was hard for him, I thought, to be in the middle on his own. Even though Burnley don't really play through the middle, they just get the ball wide and get it in the box. But still,
there was nothing happening in that middle. I remember seeing early doors. Yeah, I remember seeing early doors. Someone tried to pass the ball into the middle, and the commentators were like, "No one is getting in that middle." And Arsenal keep trying to get into the middle, and they're just not going. Burnley aren't letting them because they know they want to get through that. But they know they want to break in that spot, and it just was not going to happen. Not today. Not today.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't really the game for Partey, was it? Like in terms of showcasing his ability, and I don't know if he's gonna stick to or how often he's gonna keep changing his system up there, isn't he? But how often he's gonna play with Partey on his own. But it was okay. Not his best game, but by no means he didn't have a bad game at all.
Steve, what you got for Partey?
Well, as far as the game, I totally agree. I mean, he was the defensive midfield player today.
Yeah.
So he was the one that mainly had to sit. And so you wasn't going to get him up. I mean, I've seen a few people on Twitter saying he wasn't getting enough shots in, and I've seen him, and he needs to score more goals. But it's just, people they just don't think, do they? You've got. They're not looking at the formation today. He was the defensive midfield player. He's the one that had to sit. The guy don't score, even at his best, he doesn't score goals. That's not Thomas Partey's game.
Yeah.
But he was, like I just said at the beginning, he was the defensive midfield player today. He had to sit, so he wasn't going to shine like people want him to. Some Arsenal fans, for some reason, think our defensive midfield players have got to be Kevin De Bruyne's every week. But it doesn't work like that. I'm afraid. Even teams like Man City and Man United, they have Matic and Ferdinand who do sod all apart from sit.
Yeah.
And that was Partey's job today, and that has been Xhaka's job in the past. I thought he looked strong though on the ball most of the game. When he got the ball, he was never going to get pushed off the ball. Again, I think he's still finding his way into the team. Hopefully that'll come with games. I'd even think about playing him against Wimbledon just to keep him getting game time. He's passing these, sort of looking at a little bit. There was 2 or 3 times where he did put us in a little bit of trouble. There was some loose balls that could have. He's got to make sure that don't. He does that a bit less. But overall, not a bad. I didn't think he was a 7. I would have given him. I'll give Partey an honest, using your words, an honest 6.
All right. I think I'm going to go with the 6 for Partey. I thought he was okay today. Again, not really a game for Partey. Tough to get involved with regards to spraying balls and breaking out of that middle.
Yeah.
But yeah, an honest job for a player sitting in that middle. Tough day for him, but yeah, I think we'll see more from Thomas Partey coming forward.
Yeah.
Martin Odegaard.
Right.
Steve, go on. What you got for me?
Fantastic. Love this player. Absolutely love this player. Yeah, he's not going to score goals in every week. He's not going to make goals every week. But please, Arsenal fans out there, just look at the way he moves. Just look at the positions he takes up. Look at the way he takes players out the game. This guy can do everything.
Steve, they're hiding. They're not saying anything, mate. They're not. There's they're all the Madders, yeah? All the Madders fans out there that was talking about how Martin Odegaard was waste of money, yeah, are silent now. Then they've gone missing. They might pop up every now and again. One of them popped up the other yesterday, yeah. And after I started saying stuff about Odegaard is underrated with regards to what he done last season and blah blah, yeah. Someone pulled up a stat. They just came up with a stat and put it in under my tweet, and I was like, "You're just going to come up with a comparison stat?" I said, "This kid, yeah, landed in England for the first time in January. James Maddison." You're comparing him to James Maddison, who's had 3 seasons in the Premier League, was born in England. Like, what kind of nonsense is this? What kind of argument or debate is this? It's rubbish. Now you're getting to see what Odegaard is about. That free kick was absolute dynamite. Sorry, Steve, carry on, mate.
Stunning. Yeah, I mean, the biggest problem that Arsenal have got regards to Martin Odegaard is where you're going to play him.
He played as number 8. I said the other day he could play there.
I don't know what you're going to do. I mean, it's like, ideally, as a football fan, I would love to see this team every week.
Yeah.
I would love to see Odegaard and Partey every week.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to be possible because I don't think I don't know. I'm tempted. If I was Arteta, I'd be tempted to have a go. If it was me, I'd be saying, "Yeah, let's go for this every week." And if we get thrashed, who cares? I don't care. Let's just play it. But I don't think he is going to do that. But I want to see this midfield. I want to see Partey and Odegaard every week for a while.
Yeah, so do I.
Until it changed. But top performance, top goal, look assured. looked up for it right from the whistle. I loved him in the position he played in. And just like Tommy Ashew, he was not bothered. When he gets kicked, or he don't care. He just gets up and he gives a little bit on his bit of his own. He don't. He's strong. He don't take no messing. And I had a chat with David Weatherston, and he was saying to me, he said he doesn't. He don't. He won't. They don't mess about. He'll be getting stuck in with the best of them, and he just got on with it. And showed the Burnley players that he could match them for strength as well. He wasn't going to be messed with today, and as I say, I thought he was absolutely brilliant, and I'll give him an 8.
All right, yeah. I mean, I saw some of the stats for Odegaard. His passing completion, his movement around the pitch. Odegaard, I really like this player. I was saying to Jerome the other day, I'd like to see Odegaard long term play as that number 8 next to Thomas Partey, and I was shocked when I saw it today. I actually saw the team sheet come out, and I saw the names, and I was thinking, has he got 12 men on there? Like, am I missing a player? Because I'm thinking, how's this team? And I was like, what? Odegaard's playing next to Partey, and that's exactly. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, no, it done the job today, and I thought Odegaard was excellent. Jerome, before we go forward, hit that like and subscribe, people. If you're following on Twitter, you're seeing us on Twitter, smash that retweet. If you are on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, please, and that like. Jerome, what are you giving Odegaard?
Sorry, the dogs are going a bit mad in the background.
Didn't even hear it.
When we first, I'm going to agree with Steve and give him an 8. When we first, I think the first time we ever mentioned Odegaard on the Transfer Exchange show, we were discussing him when he was at Madrid, and I think one of the first things we mentioned about him was he was supposed to be like the heir to Modric, and obviously Modric isn't a number 10 at all. He's a central midfielder.
Yeah.
And with Odegaard. With Odegaard, he's sort of been pigeonholed in a number 10 role. Everyone thinks he's a number 10. I mean, he can play there. But with him, he's such a good technical footballer. You just want him to be involved. The more he's involved, something good, he can produce something good because he's such a good player. And I think that when he plays deeper, he sees more of the ball. I don't know about stats and passes and how often he touches the ball, but I imagine it's a lot more when he plays deeper than when he's in a number 10, because when you're a number 10, sometimes the game can pass you by a bit. You get a bit lost and maybe not see a lot of the ball. But when he plays deeper, he's got a lot more options. He's got a bit more space as well. He doesn't have like a defender up his backside. So that's my only thing with Odegaard is I just want to see him on the ball more. Because he's so good that it's like a waste to have that player on the pitch and for him not to be heavily involved. It's all a system thing and finding him the right position on the pitch, and that's the only thing with Odegaard is where would he play every week. But today, amazing free kick. Obviously, that's won us the game, and you'll get that from him because of his technique. But yeah, he's silky, isn't he, Odegaard?
Yeah.
And him and Partey, nice little combinations at times as well. I just want to see more of him, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the one issue with him sometimes at number 10 is where he wants to be on the ball more. He'll drop in deeper. He'll move onto the right flank. He moves out of position a bit more. But with that, he has that freedom, so it's not really an issue with having the ball, but it's more of an issue having a number 10 that's not really around the box much. His movement's really good, so he does get in and around there, but he's not going to be a goal scoring number 10. He's going to be a 10. Well, when he has played 10, he's been that player that maybe does the pass before the assist, and he does that all the time. He's always available. He's always on the ball, which is why his stats maybe last season weren't so much so where it was 4 assists and 2 goals or something like that. which people were sort of underwhelmed by. But when you look at the most chances created, you look at the passes on the pitch, he's got all the records for that. He had that since he joined from last season. So that shows what he does do in the game. And Arsenal have always been, well, since I've watched them, has been a possession-based team. They had to have possession. They want to be on the ball. They want that classy football. They want that classy passer, and that's him. I think his position is the rating he got today, a number 8. He's he'd be a very attacking number 8, and your needs potentially a midfielder, a defensive midfielder that's not quite like Partey's, like just more of a bosher, more of a, because I think Partey could be wasted if you've got him as just a dogged defensive midfielder. But yeah,
I don't question the both of you. I felt exactly the same thing that what you said. Sometimes he did hang on to the ball a little bit longer than what we wanted him to do. We're nitpicking, but he did. But every time I see him do that, he was looking up, but there didn't seem to be nobody there. Now I brought something up in the last podcast, and I said about having too many creative players on the pitch and having an extra forward. Do you think if we had an extra forward, and say as I say, he does have to be ruthless, and I know, and I know, Jerome, you're a massive fan, and I'm a massive fan. But let's just say, because whoever comes out of that side, people are going to moan about it because they're all top players. Is if they brought out Emil Smith Rowe, and we bought, say, a Ivan Toney, I don't know, whoever, Odegaard, and played them up front. Would then Odegaard come into this new? Would he have more firepower? Could make centre forwards making more runs? Would he be able to use his skills more?
Yeah, or even not even just forward, not even just centre forward, but like forward right, forward left, not wingers, forward left, forward right. Our strikers can play on the wings.
We had Ozil,
Sancho, Sanchez, sorry. Sanchez,
Sanchez
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Sanchez
exactly.
And Drew.
Yeah,
so you had those
I think
two.
he'd do better. Yeah,
I just feel like
I think he'd
benefit
benefit
more
from
out
that.
of
Yeah, I don't think our wingers make enough decisive runs diagonally and stuff like that into the box. They don't make that crafty run. Sometimes it's very obvious what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. And it's just the case of the ability of the player to take on that man as opposed to a crossing and these runs towards the front post, which any old schmuck can do. But we don't do it. And that's something that's taught at a very early age in football. So it does surprise me that more of our players don't do that. But I totally agree when you put it like that as well, especially like an Ivan Toney, an Odegaard, or a winger. Like you said, has to be ruthless.
Tottenham have Son and Kane, didn't they? Liverpool have Mane, Salah.
Yeah, exactly.
And whatever. I mean, you could go through them all. Got Mahrez and Jesus,
Man United have Rashford. Man United have Greenwood,
Ronaldo. We have Aubameyang.
Yeah.
And if he's not making the run, if he's not doing where he goes where he wants to, I mean, a couple of the times with Odegaard today as well, I'll see a ball thinking, I want the ball. I know where I want to play the ball. I know where I want the player to run, and then he'll play the ball, and then it'll look like an absolutely terrible ball.
Yeah.
Because the player hasn't made the run, and I've just thought this ain't him. Most people are going to pick that up and turn around and say, like useless ball from Odegaard, but no, it's because a player should be running in that gap. There's a massive gap, and he's just played it perfectly, and no one's moved in on it.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Saka. Steve, what are you giving Saka today?
Yeah, I thought Saka did well today. I thought he looked dangerous. He looked back to his old self. I thought he started to look back to his old self last week. He's got this, defenders seem to be scared of him. They back off of him when they run at him. I thought he had a really good performance today, Saka, and I give him a 7. And these were the two that I was thinking, do you take out a Saka and a Smith Rowe for a centre for a more forward, goal scoring footballer? But it's so hard, to drop them because they both play very well. But yeah, today I gave Saka a 7. I thought he did well.
All right, Jerome, what did you give Saka?
Maybe because of the expectations. I was a bit disappointed with Saka today. I didn't think he was involved enough. I thought he had a couple of occasions when him and some of the other forward players could have linked and could have created some very good chances, and it just never happened. Yeah, I was a bit disappointed. I'll give him a 6 for Saka. I don't know. I didn't think it was his greatest game.
Yeah.
You know what? I prefer him on the right than on the left. I just think
what was that about?
I don't know. I just think I just think he offers more when he's on that side.
Yeah, I agree.
Because when Saka was playing his best football for us, I think it was always from the right. You thought, right, our right wing is going to be Saka today. Like you sort of could pick that, and you were confident he was going to put in a good performance when he was flying for us. And we'll see the last few games he's been playing him on the left, and yeah, I'm not convinced about him on the left. I know it shouldn't really make a big difference.
Yeah,
it shouldn't really make a massive difference, should it? But for me, it does.
Yeah, no, I completely.
He made the goal, didn't he?
Why it would make a difference.
Yeah, great run for the goal. Yeah, great run for the goal.
Yeah, I completely understand why it would make a difference. But Saka also did have a long stint, a very good long stint as a left winger. So it's one of them.
I think it's probably just a personal preference, isn't it?
Do you know what it is? You got two wingers in Pepe and Saka who are both left-footed. So it's it's either or. And I think what they should be doing is mixing it about, keeping people thinking, because they're two completely different wingers as well. But yeah, for me, Saka, I think the kid needs a rest, and I think this is a good time for Saka to have to sort of win his place in the team. Give someone a go, like chop and change it a bit with Saka, because I just think he's played so much football over the last 3 seasons. Like, it's so much. I just don't want this kid to burn out. He's not had a rest at all. When they tried to rest him, he was having to cover at left back. And there was even one game where they finally got to rest him, and then Kolasinac came back and he got injured. So then Saka had to come in. So we had about 30 minutes rest. And I just think he's had tournaments. He's had a lot mentally. Yeah. I just think this season, maybe
after the Spurs game, Kieron. After the Spurs game, yeah.
Yeah.
Rest him after the Spurs game.
I think this season, and especially after the Euros, he's had a lot to deal with. So I think they can manage him. They need to manage him this season so that he just don't burn out mentally, not just physically, but mentally as well, because he's still young. And as you said, Jerome, we've given him a 6 because the expectations of Saka is to at least create 3 or 4 chances in a game and have a couple of shots on goal. And that weren't him today. So he's set his own level now. And I don't want us to get onto him because he is so good. He has got such good prospects and he's still so young. So I think he does need a rest. And it will help him as well. It will help him. A rest will help him. And the fact that he will want to be hungry and need to be hungry to win his shirt back is another thing that will help him as well. And he can't. These kids can't have everything so easy these days. They need to fight for their shirts, especially at Arsenal. What is Anthony saying? He seems to be speaking sense. Here we go. 5 out of 10 for Saka. He just looks uncomfortable on the left. All right, own opinion. Who you got for Smith Rowe? We ain't got to that yet. Don't want to ruin it. This is for Thomas Partey, Anthony. He sat deeper than usual and I think adjusted pretty well. 6 out of 10, not bad. Just not the right team to do it against. Yeah, that was Thomas Partey. I think that was. All right, we've gone for Pepe next. Nicholas Pepe.
Yeah, I thought Pepe was quiet today.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think he. Again, we've already spoke about how I think the forward players, especially the wide players, were a little bit non-existent.
Not a game for him today at all.
Not a game for him today.
No.
With why he was over why he was playing on the right, I have no idea. Jerome's already mentioned it. That why have they swapped? I just don't know. Why all of a sudden I don't know. I have no idea. I can't. I can't even think of a reason other than maybe they're mates with the right and left backs of Burnley and they wanted to swap them over in case they start having a chat or something. I don't know. I can't think of any other reason. But Pepe, I thought was quiet today. He didn't do much. I give him a 6.
Hmm.
All right, Jerome, what you giving Pepe?
Yeah, I'll agree with Steve on this one. I've given him a 6. He's a proper moments player, isn't he, Pepe? Like he'll not much flapping, and then he might flash one into the corner. The thing is, when you being out on that touchline, you felt that okay, he's out there. You felt that he if he wanted to, he could have had the beating of their left back. I mean, their left back isn't exactly one of the top fullbacks in the league. You felt, go on, Pepe, get the ball, which he got a lot. He sees a lot of the ball. The last few games, he's seen a lot of the ball, Pepe. But if he gets it and he's got a lot of time and he's on the touchline, he doesn't really. He's not like aggressive enough. He's not like a winger that picks it up and goes at the fullback. He sort of will get it, will come inside a little bit. Like his game is. He's at his best when he's in and around the box, firing off shots, and maybe off getting a defender off balance, dropping a shoulder and taking a shot. When he's out on the wing, he doesn't really do much for me. And he had a lot of the ball today, but it's sort of like he's relying on other people to do something. A 6. I think his all round game's improving a little bit, but not at the level that is like, right, this guy's got to start every week. He's fantastic.
Yeah, I think with Pepe, it's one of them where if you look at his stats over the last 2 seasons, he's been one of our top assists or top goal scorers, which, considering the criticism that gets thrown his way, you'd think he wouldn't be anywhere near that. And it's one of them, like, if you do take him out, where is your firepower coming from? You could bring in Lacazette.
Yeah.
But if you then if you say you've got Xhaka in the middle with Thomas Partey and you play Odegaard as the number 10 and Smith Rowe on the wing, again, where's your firepower?
Yeah, the problem is that, sorry to interrupt, is that he's been our, whatever you call it, second highest scorer, but that's not in a team that's up there. It's in a team that finished 8th twice in a row. So it's not as if, without him, obviously, it's hard to say where we'd be without him, because there might be a player that would be playing in his position that would be doing better, and then we wouldn't finish 8th. Not that saying it's all down to him, but it's hard. I think it's hard to read a lot into that, but just because of where we finished in the league both of those seasons.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
I get that, but it's like
it's impossible to know. It's like a question that's impossible to know. But
it's such a tough. It's tough, but you can only play with what you've got around you, and it's not down to him that the form of the team has been dog.
Of course.
You come into a poor team in bad form, and Yeah, it's a tough.
Because normally, if your second top goal scorer, you'll be like, right, this guy's got to be in the team every week. Like, whatever happens, he's in the team. And with Pepe, I don't think that if you ask, a big section of Arsenal fans, they'd be like, yeah, he's got to start. He's like, he's one of the main men. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's one of the main men because of because of how he's performed compared to other people in the team, not because of just him as an individual player. But maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh.
But Pepe did what we've seen like a few times from him when we've often said that he's unplayable.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm beginning to worry now because he's not doing it enough. I said a little while ago that I didn't want him dropped, even if he was playing bad. I wanted to see him just keeping on playing and playing and playing and playing, because I wanted to see him have 10, 12, 15 games and then see, how he gets on. And then if he is still too inconsistent after that, then, we have to start thinking about maybe playing someone else in that position. But he doesn't get enough goals. And this is, again, we've got Lacazette on the bench. I mean, personally, I don't want to see Lacazette in an Arsenal shirt ever again. But, a minute ago when I was talking about Odegaard and, having an extra centre forward to fire to, if you had Aubameyang on that left and then you had, I don't even want to say it, it's hurting me to say it. If you had Lacazette down the middle and then Saka on the right, then, maybe I don't know. I don't want to do it, but maybe
the option is there, but it's going back to what we've seen for the last 2 seasons, and we've moaned about every week. Like it's like we can't. It's one of them. It's one of them.
The ideal in January 2022, there was an incredible amount of centre forwards whose contracts are up in 2022. This January window is the perfect chance to get a cheap top striker. Go and have a look at that list, right? Get one for 25, 20 million, just like Man United did when they took Sanchez off of us, 20, 25, someone of that ilk. Go and get them. There's a list of about 50 of them. Bring someone in January who can score some goals, because there's no one in our side that can score goals. We're not scoring. We've got one against Norwich. We've got one against Burnley. And look, let's face it, today we didn't really make loads of chances today, did we?
Mm-hmm.
We need something. We need something else. We need another goal scorer on there. And I don't think it's Lacazette. I'm just saying Lacazette's name because he's there. I don't think it's Balogun because he's too young, like you said last week. And I don't know. I just don't think he fancies Martinelli. He sees him in training every week. And why isn't he playing? He could always play him down the left and thingy down the middle. He's not doing that. So but then again, Martinelli's young. We need someone in the 24s or the 25 years old to bring in who can score goals, who can play up front with Aubameyang. That will help Odegaard. He can play in that position behind. He can stop having to look up, look down, and pass it off when he should be playing it through. I think it would sort out a lot of problems, especially Arsenal going forward.
Yeah, I agree. But what I think we've got to remember, is where if we say give him 15 games, and if it's not working after that, then we really need to seriously think about other options. We've got to give him them 15 games. We've got to, in our heads, let him have them 15 games. Because last week I thought it was very encouraging. He was at Norwich constantly. He was one of our better players. Although it was a scrambly assist where it hit the bottom of his foot, it's because of his persistence and his hunger to want to score and get that ball that he actually got that assist. I
think we've got to give him a pass today, Kieron. Because of the type of game it was.
Yeah, and if you look at the games that have been previously, he played against Chelsea, against Man City. No one's getting. We ain't there, people. We ain't there. Yes, they're our local rival, our local derby, and we don't want to get shamed by these teams. But we ain't there. We ain't nowhere near Chelsea. We ain't nowhere near Man City. All right. So Nicolas Pepe having a dog game in them games, that doesn't even count. But and the way to Burnley as well. I don't know many teams that get much space and much joy away from Burnley. So it is a tough one. It is a tough one. But it remains to be seen what he does in the games coming. Look, the last 2 seasons, Nicolas Pepe in 47 games got 21 goal contributions, 16 goals, 5 assists.
Yeah.
Season before, he got pretty much near enough, very similar to that, but I think it was more assists. 42 games, 18 goal contributions, 10 assists, 8 goals. And that, yes, there's stats, and we see him lose the ball often here and there. But again, as I say, he's one of them midfield. He's one of them wingers. He's just one of them wingers. He's not a winger like a Harvey Barnes who will knock it past you, honest winger, and cross the ball and try and get in the box. And he's not that. He's a crafty, silky, skillful winger who will try stuff. What he does need to do is he needs to take a leaf out of someone like Cristiano Ronaldo's book, get on the weights, and not try and do chops and chops past the same player 3 times. Get past him once, then go take him on. We don't need to be entertained that way. We can be entertained by you scoring goals and getting assists. All right, let's move on. Otherwise, this will go on forever. Emil Smith-Rowe.
Shall I go? Yeah.
Go on.
I'll be quick. I was a little bit disappointed in Emil Smith-Rowe today. Not in a bad way. Just in again another player who really didn't get involved that much. When he gets the ball, you sit up, you get excited. He's a good runner of the ball, but oh my God, his finishing's got to improve.
He had a great chance, didn't he? He had a great chance on his left foot.
I mentioned it a few times now. He's missed a few. Certainly missed one last week. One last week. So that's got to improve. Nothing majorly wrong, nothing majorly great. And I say he missed a big chance which could have proved, crucial in another game. So I'm going to give Smith-Rowe a 6.
Yeah, I said it after the in the ratings one. I've got a lot of time for Smith-Rowe, but it's going to get to a certain stage where he needs to start taking these chances. And I thought Norwich was one last week and again this week. Jerome, what are you giving Smith-Rowe?
Yes, again 6 for me. Him and Saka, they've been excellent for us since they both came into the team. But I don't know if it's maybe the position he was playing in today, but he was linking the play okay, trying to get involved, but we definitely didn't see the best of him today. He was nowhere near his best. When he came on against Norwich the other week, he looked at it. He was positive, aggressive with his running, and he wasn't that today at all. Mm-hmm. Whether it was to do with the game, perhaps, or his position, but yeah, a bit disappointed. But a 6 for me for Smith-Rowe.
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, was he even playing? Did he even play? Was he even there? I swear I saw him warm up. That was it. Steve, Aubameyang.
Ultra disappointed.
Sometimes today. I feel like I'm not even watching the game. Did I even watch the game? Did Aubameyang play? Where's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang?
I can't think of anything he did. I can't think of anything.
Genuinely, I can't. Usually in the game you get like, Aubameyang, he tried to make a run or he chased down something. You get that scene where it's like he's never going to win it, but he chases, he runs. I didn't even see that today.
Yeah. We're going from one week to another with him. 1 week we're thinking, he's on his way back, he's looking good. And the next week we're thinking, nah, he looked totally disinterested in anything that was going on. And what was annoying me the most was the fact that with especially Odegaard, who was looking up and he's waiting for him to make runs, and I'm watching him. I always played in a similar position to what Odegaard did. And the first thing I used to do is when you get the ball, you straight away, you're not thinking about nothing else, you look up. Yeah? So when I watch a football game, that's mostly what I'm looking for. You look up straight away to see who's making the run before you do anything else. And he was doing that a lot, Odegaard. And he was making no runs, he wasn't moving, he wasn't running into the channels. I don't know what was whether he had a row with Lacazette, before he came on the pitch. Right, I don't know. His best buddy. I don't know.
Right.
I can't talk about him that much because he didn't do nothing. So I gave Aubameyang the lowest mark that I've given so far, and that's a 5.
Yeah, like Aubameyang, yeah, and he don't get away with it because he used to be our talisman, yeah. Like Aubameyang, yeah, exactly what you said there. Them runs, I feel like when you play on the left, when he plays on the left, he's got no option but to run away from the wing and run towards the goal. When he's in that middle, it's like he don't know what to do with himself. It's like make a diag. Like pull off and then get into space. Like you're not even making the defender think. He's just standing around. I remember playing, yeah, and seeing that striker that used to stand around and just started chatting to not getting any joy, not getting the ball. He just starts chatting to defenders, and I'm like, boys, stop talking to him. Stop talking to the striker. I feel like Aubameyang just goes on match day sometimes. And he's just gonna, how you doing, guys? Yeah, have a little chat, have a little laughing joke. It was just non-existent today. I can't even say it was awful because I can't even remember him touching the ball. Jerome,
I mean,
sorry, did you? Oh, you go on.
Yeah. No, I just wanted Anthony. Anthony says he's giving him a 4 out of 10, and we say sell him, and that's fair enough. We could, but we can't sell him, Anthony. You see, because he signed that 3-year contract. So unless he wants to go, then there's no point us talking about him leaving because our great people from upstairs have decided to give him a 3-year contract. So we've got to hope that he performs.
He doesn't. He wants to. He'd be happy to go, but no one's going to pay 300 plus grand a week for a 32-year-old striker who's not scored a goal, barely any goals in 2 seasons. Like, let's get real, people. It's not going to happen. Jerome.
Yeah, 5, if that. Like you said, he was anonymous, wasn't he? And unfortunately, in a lot of games, even when he does score, he's not the sort of player that can come and link the play and cause a lot of damage, not only in the box but like around the box and in the attacking midfield area. Like his passing is terrible. Even like his short passing, it's really bad.
I'm worrying about. That's one player I'm worrying about. That it's players to worry about in this team, but Aubameyang is a player I worry about now
because players
on and off.
Yeah, it affects the whole team. It affects those 3 players that play behind the striker. So your Smith Rowe, Saka, and Odegaard. Like they need a hot striker. Yeah. If they don't have a hot striker, it's really going to affect their games, and it's going to make them look worse than what they are.
Mm-hmm. Pressure on the defense, everything. Like your main goal scorer is not scoring, and not only is he not scoring, he's not even making himself useful. That what you'll get with Lacazette, if he's not scoring, you get a hard shift, you get a hard work, you get someone who drops in and shows himself for the other players. I'm just not even seeing that from Aubameyang.
Do you remember any chances he had today?
No,
I don't
remember him on the ball. I don't remember him on the ball. He certainly. James Tarkowski certainly doesn't remember him. Like,
and I don't remember James Tarkowski. Do you remember James Tarkowski getting mentioned? But I'm saying, do you remember him getting mentioned? Like, I don't even remember him playing because he had nothing to do.
No.
They're both their centre backs. I had it on. Didn't have English commentary, to be fair, but I didn't hear like their centre backs mentioned at all because they had nothing to do.
Yeah. I mean, I had it on like a foreign commentary, and I mean, I think I heard Tarkowski's name once because I thought it just sounded funny him saying it.
Yeah.
I heard him say it once, and it was when he went for a header in the box, and that was it. Ben Mee again was getting on the ball, but not like no danger, 0 danger from Aubameyang today. Sort it out, Aubameyang. This is not good enough. Don't stop looking at other players. Yeah, fans as well. Stop looking at other players that are not giving him service because Aubameyang has got to move for the ball. He's too predictable. he's so predictable. You know what he's going to do. Even if he's on the left, he's very predictable. But what it is he's one of them where you couldn't stop him from doing it. He would get it on his left, or he'd get it on his right. He'd open up and he'd see that spot and he'd curl it in the corner.
Yeah. But Kieron, we mentioned before, weren't we? We mentioned before, Kieron, haven't we? You know, if you're Pierre Aubameyang, your final start of the game, you're coming out the tunnel, and you're looking at all those players who can create goals for you. You should be buzzing, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
He don't look. That's the worrying thing for me. He don't.
Especially where he would have seen an extra creative player in that team in Odegaard today, and you would have just thought he would have just made a bit more of an effort to just get on the ball, even dropping in deep, which I don't want to see my striker do. It really annoys me, but I'm not even seeing him doing that. I'm not seeing, when a striker gets frustrated, so they're dropping deep, and you're like, oh, stay up top, we need a vocal point. He's not even doing that. Like, Aubameyang seriously worries me, and it worries me going forward because if we haven't got an Aubameyang ticking or a striker that's going to score us 20 goals in the Premier League, we're going to have another season where we're low at mid-table. We need him scoring goals. The Congo, when he came on, subs now.
Yeah, the Congo it wasn't long for long, was he?
Yeah.
But he wasn't good. Yeah, he didn't have time to get into it. I'm not going to give him a 5 because it puts him in how Aubameyang was, and I don't think that's fair. So I can't give him 5.5, can I? I'm going to give him a high 5 just because of the fact that he didn't have long enough to do anything.
He gets a 5. Jerome,
same. I suppose it's hard to judge some of the subs because they weren't really on for too long. It's a bit tricky. So unless they do something else, I mean, I might have to mention Tavares' shot when he had that rush of blood to his head when he was like 4-on-3 or something, and then all of a sudden he decided to shoot from 30 yards out.
We did, lad. I'd have gone mental at him on the pitch. I'd have been going mental.
That was a minute before the end of the game. That was like then they had the goal kick, and there was a couple that they could have had a chance from that.
No need for it. You keep the ball. You're not scoring a 45-yard shot against.
And I think he had so many options. He had so many options as well. We could have passed it left, right, through the middle.
I know, but that's him. Get used to that because that's him. When you play champ manager or football manager I'm champ manager. I'm a purist. So, but football manager, and they've got 20 shooting, and you stick on shoot more often, and then after about 2 games, you turn it off because they do nothing but shoot from every angle. That's Tavares. He's constantly on shoot more often. Now he has that. So get used to it, people. Steve, what are you giving Tavares?
I like him. I like him.
I like Tavares. Very raw.
I quite like that. What he did when he picked the ball up front.
No, I don't want to shoot it 45 yards with a minute to go against Burnley. Who will get the ball, hoof it onto the penalty spot, and just scramble goal in throw their heads in. There's that, right? But what I did like, right, looking at it from a different side, was I tell you what, no one was going to stop him, was they? No.
I tell you what, those Burnley midfielders, those
pacey.
big, tough, burly midfielder, right, ran away to mummy when he come on. He just ran through there, and they were, he's a beast, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like, I tell you what, Kieron Tierney, he's going to push up. I wouldn't be surprised if in like 2-3 years' time, he's possibly, which is what we've always wanted, it could even be our number 1 left back. That's as far as I'll go.
Do you know what someone said to me before? They said he's like a very raw Alphonso Davies. And I was like, do you know what? He's got very similar attributes where he looks like he will run through a wall.
Stop it in.
Very quick. But he needs to hone in his skills. And if he does, he'll be a very good left back. Got a lot of work to do, though, but I like him.
6, I give you.
6. All right, he gets a 6. Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
Did he come on? Didn't he come on?
I think he did. I think he did. Did he come on?
Yeah, not. I don't know how long he
Yeah,
got, but it wasn't for long, was it?
Yeah, it weren't for
5.
long.
Yeah. Give him a 5.
Give him a 5. It's very memorable. So probably one of his better performances. No, I'm not going to be Arsenal, ain't he? I like him. He's Arsenal's youth. Mikel Arteta.
Well, I was worried at the beginning because obviously because of the lineup that he put out, and obviously going to Burnley and not having that extra bit of cover with a central defence that is still sort of blending in and learning how each other plays. I thought it was a bit risky, but to me, he got it spot on. He got it spot on. We won the game, and that's what a manager has to do. And then he's done his job. So, yeah, I'll give him an 8.
All right, Jerome, what are you giving him?
What do I give Arteta? Yeah, go on. Let's give him some credit. Give him an 8. Bold with his lineup.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
It's a big decision now. This goalie, and he seemed to have, given him the nod and stuck with it. So fair play.
That midfield.
The midfield. That was a bit of a risk. Yeah. That was a risk to the midfield. I
think that's the boldest one because it could have been quite easy to match them. Just with Burnley versus Burnley. Do you know what I mean? Just two lumps in the midfield. But he went with Odegaard. Yeah,
he could have stuck 3 centre backs to deal with their 2 centre forwards, but he was happy to have the 2 centre backs against their forwards. So yeah, and like I said, you'd have taken this before the game, so you can't criticise the manager too much for this. It's fair play. Pick the team, they got the result, and it's on to the next one.
All right, and who's your man of the match?
Martin Odegaard. Got to be. For me, anyway. There's probably another 2 that could challenge him, but for me, I thought Martin Odegaard was excellent today. So yeah, Martin Odegaard for me. But it was Jerome's got to go the choice because of earlier.
Jerome.
I think if Sky Sports were giving the man of the match, it would be probably to Odegaard because normally the player that scores the goal gets the man of the match, don't they?
That's the default, isn't it?
Yeah. He was excellent, Odegaard, but I think Gabriel for me was top draw today.
Yeah, and, it could be. It could.
It's a toss of a coin between those two, to be honest.
Yeah. Look, it could go either way. It's hard to look past the goal scorer when you've won 1-0 and he played so well. So I will give it to Odegaard. However, my man of the match was Gabriel because probably more so because I had him as the key man and it was important that he had a good game today. Because this Burnley defense forward line is just, what they're going to do. They're going to lump it forward. You've got to be vigilant against them. So yeah, I my personal one was Gabriel, but I'm going to give it to Odegaard because
I think Jerome got the key man spot on because for that saving tackle in the first half. I mean that's key. Because if he got his foot to that, it would have been a goal. So massive key, probably the biggest key moment other than the goal. So yeah, he's got that spot on.
All right, people. Well, for a 20-minute rating show, half-hour max, we've gone on for an hour and a half. I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed, and it won't happen again, people. I apologise.
You always say that. He says that all the time.
All right. Thanks, people, for joining us. Got some new names. Russ Morgan in the house. Hopefully you're hitting that subscribe button because you're watching on YouTube. Yeah, thank you very much, Russ. Anthony, top draw tonight. Thank you very much for your comments. Glenn Cook, as always, top draw. And yeah, Ricky Hall, we see you. I know you're unidentified, but I know you are. I looked on Facebook.
You can tell by that little. You can tell by the little silhouette there was him.
I can tell by the egg. Yeah, the egg. Yeah, I can tell by the shape of the egg that it was you, Rick. All right, people. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Appreciate your support. Thank you very much for joining us, Steve.
Absolute pleasure, mate. Nice little 1-0 win. Fantastic.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Jerome.
Yeah, cool. Cheers. Thanks, guys.
All right. And make sure you join us on Tuesday for the Arsenal show. We'll be. Cheers, guys. Russ Morgan. A little cheers.
Cheers, Russ.
Thank you very much, Russ. Yeah. Peace out, people. Glenn's, everyone wants to get involved. Once I've read out the figure, yeah, and I'm saying goodbye. Everyone throws in just I'm trying to say my goodbyes, and I always usually see them after I've turned off the show, so I feel bad. So I'm gonna get them in now. All right. Thank you, people. Peace out.
Cheers,
Stay safe and wash your hands.